Chris for the Handegard channel here, and I'm looking at an interesting article today on MSN Money entitled "The Chinese Take Manhattan, Replacing the Russians as Top Apartment Buyers." So let's have a look at this because this is pretty important for people in this country to take notice of, as we're seeing a lot of those Federal Reserve notes that have been printed like crazy starting to really flood back. And the impact on us is going to be inflation, loss of our purchasing power, and you're going to see a lot of real estate snatched up by the people who are holding a lot of US dollars, like the Chinese, the Russians, the Japanese, and other foreign entities, because they're well aware of the impending crash of our currency and its loss of status as the world's reserve currency, because that has been abused. So let's look at this article. The New York Sydney Reuters is reporting that for the first time the Chinese have become the biggest foreign buyers of apartments in Manhattan. Real estate brokers estimate taking the mantle from the Russians, whose activity has dropped off since the unrest in Ukraine and imposition of sanctions. Yeah, the Russians are saying, okay, fine, you can keep your real estate. We're going to go elsewhere. The wealthy Chinese are pouring their money into real estate in New York and other major cities. As I recall hearing elsewhere, a mention of large portions of downtown LA are already in foreign ownership, in particular Chinese. So the Reuters has asked the 5 of the top real estate brokerages for their rankings of foreign buyers in New York City, and the Chinese ranked first in both volume and value of sales in all their estimates. They're going at it. They want that real estate instead of holding paper that's going to become worthless. The Chinese interest is mainly a valuation play, real estate experts say. And that's just financier speak for they want to get the hell out of that funny money before it vaporizes and hold something tangible with real value that's not going to disintegrate when the dollar goes down. Valuation play indeed. Says while U.S. prices have been recovering, they are still appealingly low by comparison with many other parts of the world. Yeah, prices recovering because the Fed is pumping zillions of funny money dollars into the markets. So they're switching their interest away from markets in Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Singapore, because those markets have soared to frothy levels for the same reason. The Central Bank of China has been printing like there's no tomorrow, which, by the way, pretty much ensures that there won't be, so to speak. Because when these currencies crash, it's going to be messy. No one, by and large, is prepared for that. Very few. And I imagine that many will be caught off guard. So anyway, the brokers say that many Chinese buyers are also investing abroad so they can own property near major blah, 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 blah. They want to send their children overseas to school. Yeah, get them out of China. Sounds like a good idea if things are oppressive there. And the Russians, they're gone. Yeah, the real estate agents in Manhattan have been freaking because their biggest buyers, the Russians, who were willing to plunk down stupid amounts of money for these Manhattan lofts and penthouses that are hideously overvalued, are vacating. They're pulling out, and they've canceled a number of significantly large deals that were in the works. So the agents who stood to make hefty commissions, they make 3 to 6%, depending on if they get both ends. What's 3% of $1 million? 300,000? No, 30,000? A lot of money to broker a sale. So in Manhattan, it wasn't long ago that the Russian oligarchs dominated the gilded world of real estate. What a bunch of phonies. Gobbling up status-heavy marquee properties such as an $88 million Robert A.M. Stern designed penthouse and a $75 million mansion with a ballroom and a rooftop eyrie. Yep, that is what these rich people who've managed to scam the system are trying to get their money turned into: real estate. So the Russian buyers have become scarce because of fears that the struggle over Ukraine will worsen, leading to increasingly tough U.S. sanctions. Or maybe they'll just steal it from them, because the governments are all good at that. So they're worried that they're gone. The Chinese have grown to 28% of this real estate agents' international business in the first quarter of 2014, up from 19%. So these Chinese buyers typically used to pick up properties in the $1 to $5 million range in New York, often buying 2 and 3 at a time for investment purposes. That's what the printing of the Federal Reserve has done. It's created a lot of Chinese billionaires, as well as making the billionaires on Wall Street stupidly rich, while the rest of us are impoverished. But that's another subject for another day. The wealth gap is being played out here in this real estate kind of incredible markets that they're selling these things for. It's just stupid. So blah, blah, blah. The Chinese are spending more and more money. Yep, they're snatching up all these apartments in Manhattan. They're buying the Gatsby-esque mansions on Long Island. They're looking for trophy properties. Some Chinese aren't even bothering to come to the United States at all, going so far as to pick up multi-million-dollar properties sight unseen. You know, that's how important it is for them to unload those monopoly money fraud notes, those counterfeit Federal Reserve pieces of paper with dead presidents on them. Or, in the case of Benjamin Franklin, just a dead guy. And so the trend is onwards and upwards by the Chinese. And New York isn't alone. No kidding. They are buying up just about anything that's for sale in this country. You can thank the government, our government. The United States government is wholly responsible for creating this situation by allowing the banksters who have been running this scam on us for 100 years with this thing they created called the Federal Reserve, defrauding us, destroying 98% of the value of this dollar that we depend on. So we'll get into that, no doubt about it, in other videos. But let's stick to the issue of Shanghai businessman Wang Jingguang has already picked up 2 houses in another major Australian city, Melbourne, and 1 in Sydney. This is going on in Canada, Australia, United States, because of the massive amount of foreign reserves that are held by China and Japan and Russia. That means US dollars mostly. It puts them in an excellent position to command a buyer's market, or a seller's market for that matter. If the sellers are asking exorbitant prices, the buyers don't care, because they know it's better to get rid of these pieces of paper before everyone figures it out. The emperor's got no clothes and it all comes down. They want to be holding something tangible with a deed. Read this article on MSN Money. See what you think. If you like the content, if you like the commentary, I'll give you more. This is just me ranting on about a particular news item, news article, trying to fill in a little bit with some colorful commentary and food for thought. So have a look, educate yourself, prepare. This is Chris for the Handegard channel.